Cymbeline by William Shakespeare. Act I Scene I Britain, the garden of Cymbeline's palace. You do not meet a man but frowns. Our bloods no more obey the heavens than our courtiers still seem as does the king. His daughter, and the heir of's kingdom, whom he purposed to his wife's sole son, a widow that late he married, hath referred herself unto a poor but worthy gentleman. She's wedded, her husband banished, she imprisoned. All is outward sorrow, though I think the king be touched at very heart. He that hath lost her too, so is the queen that most desired the match. But not a courtier, although they wear their faces to the bent of the king's looks, hath a heart that is not glad at the thing they scowl at. He that hath missed the princess is a thing too bad for bad report, and he that hath her, I mean, that married her, alack, good man, and therefore banished, is a creature such as, to seek through the regions of the earth for one his like, there would be something failing in him that should compare. I do not think so fair an outward and such stuff within endows a man but he. I do extend him, sir, within himself, crush him together, rather than unfold his measure duly. I cannot delve him to the root. His father was called Cecilius, who did join his honor against the Romans with Cymbeline, but had his titles by Tenantius, whom he served with glory and admired success, so gained the suredition Leonatus, and had, besides this gentleman in question, 2 other sons, who in the wars o' the time died with their swords in hand, for which their father, then old and fond of issue, took such sorrow that he quit being, and his gentle lady, big of this gentleman our theme, deceased as he was born. The king he takes the babe to his protection, calls him posthumous Leonatus, breeds him and makes him of his bedchamber, puts to him all the learnings that his time could make him the receiver of, which he took, as we do fast as 'twas ministered, and in spring became a harvest, lived in cot, which rare it is to do, most praised, most loved, a sample to the youngest, to the more mature a glass that feeded them, and to the graver a child that guided dotards. To his mistress, for whom he now is banished, her own price proclaims how she esteemed him and his virtue. By her election may be truly read what kind of man he is. I honor him even out of your report. But pray you, tell me, is she sole child to the king? His only child. He had 2 sons, if this be worth your hearing, mark it. The eldest of them at 3 years old, I the swathing clothes the other, from their nursery were stol'n, and to this hour no guess in knowledge which way they went. That a king's children should be so conveyed, so slackly guarded, and the search so slow, that could not trace them, howsoe'er 'tis strange, or that the negligence may well be laughed at, yet is it true, sir. We must forbear. Here comes the gentleman, the queen, and princess. Exeunt? No, be assured you shall not find me, daughter, after the slander of most stepmothers, evil-eyed unto you. You're my prisoner, but your jailer shall deliver you the keys that lock up your restraint. For you, posthumous, so soon as I can win the offended king, I will be known your advocate, marry, yet the fire of rage is in him, and 'twere good you leaned unto his sentence with what patience your wisdom may inform you. Please your highness, I will from hence today. You know the peril. I'll fetch a turn about the garden, pitying the pangs of bawd affections, though the king hath charged you should not speak together. Exit. O dissembling courtesy, how fine this tyrant can tickle where she wounds. My dearest husband, I something fear my father's wrath, but nothing, always reserved my holy duty, what his rage can do on me. You must be gone, and I shall here abide the hourly shot of angry eyes, not comforted to live, but that there is this jewel in the world that I may see again. My queen? My mistress? O lady, weep no more, lest I give cause to be suspected of more tenderness than doth become a man. I will remain the loyalst husband that did e'er plight troth. My residence in Rome at one Philario's, who to my father was a friend, to me known but by letter. Thither write, my queen, and with mine eyes I'll drink the words you send, though ink be made of gall. Be brief, I pray you. If the king come, I shall incur I know not how much of his displeasure. Aside, yet I'll move him to walk this way. I never do him wrong, but he does by my injuries, to be friends, pays dear for my offences. Exit. Should we be taking leave as long a term as yet we have to live, the loathness to depart would grow. Adieu? Nay, stay a little, were you but riding forth to air yourself, such potting were too petty. Look here, love, this diamond was my mother's. Take it hot, but keep it till you woo another wife when Imogen is dead. How, another? You gentle gods, give me but this I have, and sear up my embracements from next with bonds of death. Putting on the ring. Remain thou here while sense can keep it on. And sweetest, fairest, as I my poor self did exchange for you, to your so infinite loss, so in our trifles I still win of you. For my sake wear this, it is a manacle of love, I'll place it upon this fairest prisoner. Putting a bracelet upon her arm. Oh, the gods, when shall we see again? thou basest thing, avoid, hence from my sight. If after this command thou fraught the cot with thy unworthiness, thou deest, away, thou art poison to my blood. The gods protect you, and bless the good remainders of the cot. I am gone, exit. There cannot be a pinch in death more sharp than this is. O disloyal thing, that shouldst repair my youth, thou heapst a year's age on me. I beseech you, sir, harm not yourself with your vexation. I am senseless of your wrath. A touch more rare subdues all pangs, all fears. O blessed that I might not! I chose an eagle, and did avoid a puttock. Thou tookst a beggar, wouldst have made my throne a seat for baseness. No, I rather added a lustre to it. Sir, it is your fault that I have loved Posthumus. You bred him as my playfellow, and he is a man worth any woman, overbuys me almost the sum he pays. Almost, sir, heaven restore me! Would I were a neat herd's daughter, and my Leonatus our neighbour shepherd's son. They were again together. You have done not after our command. Away with her, and pen her up. Beseech your patience. Peace, dear lady daughter, peace, sweet sovereign. Leave us to ourselves, and make yourself some comfort out of your best advice. Nay, let her languish a drop of blood a day, and, being aged, die of this folly. Exeunt Cymbeline and lauds. Ha, no harm, I trust, is done. There might have been, but that my master rather played than fought, and had no help of anger. They were potted by gentlemen at hand. Your son's my father's friend, he takes his pot. To draw upon an exile? O brave sir, I would they were in Afric both together, myself by with a needle, that I might prick the goa back. Why came you from your master? On his command. He would not suffer me to bring him to the haven, left these notes of what commands I should be subject to, when pleased you to employ me. This hath been your faithful servant. I dare lay mine honour he will remain so. About some half hour hence, I pray you, speak with me. You shall at least go see my lord abode, for this time leave me. Exeunt. Scene Roman 2 the same, a public place. Scene Roman 3 a room in Cymbeline's palace. I would thou grewst unto the shaws o' the haven, and questionedst every sail. If he should write, and not have it, 'twere a paper lost, as offered mercy is. What was the last that he spake to thee? Senseless linen, happier therein than I, and that was all? No, madam, for so long as he could make me with this eye or ear distinguish him from others, he did keep the deck, with glove, or hat, or handkerchief, still waving, as the fits and stirs of his mind could best express how slow his soul sailed on, how swift his ship. Thou shouldst have made him as little as a crow, or less, ere left to after-eye him. I would have broke mine eye-strings, cracked them, but to look upon him, till the diminution of space had pointed him sharp as my needle, nay, followed him, till he had melted from the smallness of a gnat to air, and then have turned mine eye and wept. But, good Pisanio, when shall we hear from him? Be assured, madam, with his next vantage. I did not take my leave of him, but had most pretty things to say. Ere I could tell him how I would think on him at certain hours such thoughts and such, or I could make him swear the shiz of Italy should not betray mine interest and his honour, or have charged him, at the 6th hour of morn, at noon, at midnight, to encounter me with orisons, for then I am in heaven for him, or ere I could give him that parting kiss which I had set betwixt two charming words, comes in my father, and like the tyrannous breathing of the north shakes all our buds from growing. The Queen, madam, desires your highness company. Those things I bid you do, get them dispatched. I will attend the Queen. Scene Roman 4 Rome. Philario's house. Scene v Britain. A room in Cymbeline's palace. Whiles yet the dew's on ground, gather those flowers, make haste. Who has the note of them? Dispatch, exeunt ladies. Now, master doctor, have you brought those drugs? Pleaseth your highness, I. Here they are, madam, presenting a small box, but I beseech your grace, without offence, my conscience bids me ask, wherefore you have commanded of me those most poisonous compounds, which are the movers of a languishing death, but though slow, deadly? I wonder, doctor, thou ask'st me such a question. Have I not been thy pupil long? Hast thou not learned me how to make perfumes, distill, preserve? Yea, so that our great king himself doth woo me oft for my confections. Having thus far proceeded, unless thou think'st me devilish, is't not meet that I did amplify my judgment in other conclusions? I will try the fauces of these thy compounds on such creatures as we count not worth the hanging, but none human, to try the vigor of them and apply aliments to their act, and by them gather their several virtues and effects. Your highness shall from this practice but make hard your heart. Besides, the seeing these effects will be both noisome and infectious. Aside. Here comes a flattering rascal, upon him will I first work. He's for his master, an enemy to my son. How now, Pisanio? Doctor, your service for this time is ended, take your own way. Aside, I do suspect you, madam, but you shall do no harm. Aside, I do not like her. She doth think she has strange lingering poisons. I do know her spirit, and will not trust one of her malice with a drug of such damned nature. Those she is will stupefy and dull the sense a while, which first, perchance, she'll prove on cats and dogs, then afterward up higher. But there is no danger in what show of death it makes, more than the locking up the spirits a time, to be more fresh, reviving. She is fooled with a most false effect, and I the truer, so to be false with her. No further service, doctor, until I send for thee. Weeps she still, say'st thou? Dost thou think in time she will not quench and let instructions enter where folly now possesses? Do thou work. When thou shalt bring me word she loves my son, I'll tell thee on the instant thou art then as great as is thy master greater. For his fortunes all lie speechless, and his name is at last gasp. Return he cannot, nor continue where he is. To shift his being is to exchange one misery with another, and every day that comes to decay a day's work in him. What shalt thou expect, to be depender on a thing that leans, who cannot be new built, nor has no friends, so much as but to prop him? The queen drops the box. Pisanio takes it up. Thou takest up thou knowst not what, but take it for thy labor. It is a thing I made, which hath the king 5 times redeemed from death. I do not know what is more cordial. Nay, I prithee, take it. It is an earnest of a further good that I mean to thee. Tell thy mistress how the case stands with her, as from thyself. Think what a chance thou changest on, but think thou haste thy mistress still, to boot, my son, who shall take notice of thee? I'll move the king to any shape of thy preferment such as thou'lt desire, and then myself, I chiefly, that set thee on to this desert, am bound to load thy merit richly. Call my women, think on my words. Exit Pisanio. A sly and constant knave, not to be shaked, the agent for his master, and the remembrancer of her, to hold the hand fast to her lord. I have given him that which, if he take, shall quite unpeople her of lages for her sweet, and which she after, except she bend her humour, shall be assured to taste of too. So, well done, the violets, cowslips, and the primroses bear to my closet. Fare thee well, Pisanio, think on my words, exeunt queen and ladies, and shall do, but when to my good lord I prove untrue, I'll choke myself. There's all I'll do for you. Exit, scene vi the same, another room in the palace. A father cruel, and a stepdame false, a foolish suitor to a wedded lady that hath her husband banished. Oh, that husband, my supreme crown of grief, and those repeated vexations of it. Had I been thief stol'n as my 2 brothers, happy, but most miserable is the desire that's glorious. Blessed be those, how mean soe'er, that have their honest wills, which seasons comfort. Who may this be? Fie, madam, a noble gentleman of Rome comes from my lord with letters. Change you, madam. The worthy Leonatus is in safety and greets your highness dearly. Presents a letter. Thanks, good sir, your kindly welcome. Aside, all of her that is out of door most rich. If she be furnished with a mind so rare, she is alone the Arabian bird, and I have lost the wager. Boldness be my friend, arm me audacity from head to foot. All like the Parthian, I shall flying fight, rather directly fly. Reads. He is one of the noblest note, to whose kindnesses I am most infinitely tied. Reflect upon him accordingly, as you value your trust, Leonatus. So far I read aloud, but even the very middle of my heart is warmed by the rest and takes it thankfully. You are as welcome, worthy sir, as I have words to bid you, and shall find it so in all that I can do. Thanks, fairest lady. What, are men mad? Hath nature given them eyes to see this vaulted arch and the rich crop of sea and land, which can distinguish twixt the fiery orbs above and the twin stones upon the numbered beach? And can we not partition make with spectacles so precious twixt fair and foul? It cannot be I the eye, for apes and monkeys twixt 2 such shiz would chatter this way and contemn with mows the other. Nor I the judgment, for idiots in this case of favor would be wisely definite. Nor I the appetite. Sluttery to such neat excellence opposed should make desire vomit emptiness, not so allured to feed. The cloyed will that satiate yet unsatisfied desire, that tub both filled and running, ravening first the lamb longs after for the garbage. What, dear sir, thus raps you? Are you well? Thanks, madam, well, to Pisanio, beseech you, sir, desire my man's abode where I did leave him. He is strange and peevish. I was going, sir, to give him welcome. Exit, exceeding pleasant, none a stranger there so merry and so gamesome. He is called the Briton reveller. When he was here, he did incline to sadness, and oft times not knowing why. I never saw him sad. There is a Frenchman his companion, one an eminent monsieur, that it seems much loves a Gallian girl at home. He furnaces the thick sighs from him, whiles the jolly Briton, your lord, I mean, laughs from's free lungs, cries, oh, can my sides hold to think that man, who knows by history, report, or his own proof, what woman is, yea, what she cannot choose but must be, will his free hours languish for assured bondage? Ay, madam, with his eyes in flood with laughter. It is a recreation to be by and hear him mock the Frenchman. But heavens know, some men are much to blame. Not he, but yet heaven's bounty towards him might be used more thankfully. In himself 'tis much, in you, which I account his beyond all talents, whilst I am bound to wonder, I am bound to pity too. Am I one, sir? You look on me. What wreck discern you in me deserves your pity? Lamentable? What, to hide me from the radiant sun and solace I the dungeon by a snuff? I pray you, sir, deliver with more openness your answers to my demands. Why do you pity me? That others do, I was about to say, enjoy yaw, but it is an office of the gods to venge it, not mine to speak on't. You do seem to know something of me. All what concerns me, pray you, since doubting things go ill often hurts more than to be sure they do. For certainties either are past remedies, or, timely knowing, the remedy then born, discover to me what both you spur and stop. Had I this cheek to bathe my lips upon, this hand, whose every touch would force the feeler's soul to the oath of loyalty. This object, which takes prisoner the wild motion of mine eye, fixing it only here, should I, damned then, slaver with lips as common as the stairs that mount the Capitol, join gripes with hands made hard with hourly falsehood, as with labor, then by peeping in an eye base and unlustrous as the smoky light that's fed with stinking tallow, it were fit that all the plagues of hell should at one time encounter such revolt. My lord, I fear, has forgot Britain. And himself, not I, inclined to this intelligence, pronounce the beggary of his change, but 'tis your graces that from pay mutest conscience to my tongue charms this report out. O dearest soul, your cause doth strike my heart with pity, that doth make me sick. A lady so fair, and fastened to an empery, would make the great'st king double, to be partnered with tomboys hired with that self-exhibition which your own coffers yield, with diseased ventures that play with all infirmities for gold which rottenness can lend nature. Such boiled stuff as well might poison. Be revenged, or she that bore you was no queen, and you recoil from your great stock. Revenged? How should I be revenged? If this be true, as I have such a heart that both mine ears must not in haste abuse, if it be true, how should I be revenged? Should he make me live, like Diana's priest, betwixt cold sheets, whilst he is vaulting variable ramps in your despite upon your purse? Revenge it? I dedicate myself to your sweet pleasure, more noble than that runagate to your bed, and will continue fast to your affection, still close as sure. Away? I do condemn mine ears that have so long attended thee. If thou wert honorable, thou wouldst have told this tale for virtue, not for such an end thou seek'st, as base as strange. Thou wrong'st a gentleman, who is as far from thy report as thou from honor, and solicit'st here a lady that disdains thee and the devil alike. What ho, Pisanio, the king my father shall be made acquainted of thy assault, if he shall think it fit, a saucy stranger in his cot to mot as in a rummish stew, and to expound his beastly mind to us. He hath a cot he little cares for, and a daughter who he not respects at all. What, ho, Pisanio? O happy Leonatus? I may say, the credit that thy lady hath of thee deserves thy trust, and thy most perfect goodness her assured credit. Blessed live you long, a lady to the worthiest sir that ever country called his, and you his mistress, only for the most worthiest fit. Give me your pardon. I have spoke this to know if your affiance were deeply rooted, and shall make your laud that which he is, new awe, and he is one the truest mannered, such a holy witch that he enchants societies into him, half all men's hearts are his. He sits mongst men like a descended god, he hath a kind of honor sets him off, more than a mortal seeming. Be not angry, most mighty princess, that I have adventured to try your taking a false report, which hath honored with confirmation your great judgment in the election of a sir so rare, which you know cannot err. The love I bear him made me to fan you thus, but the gods made you, unlike all others, chaffless. Pray, your pardon. My humble thanks. I had almost forgot to entreat your grace but in a small request and yet of moment too, for it concerns your lord. Myself and other noble friends are partners in the business. Some dozen Romans of us and your lord, the best feather of our wing, have mingled sums to buy a present for the emperor, which I, the factor for the rest, have done in France. 'Tis plate of rare device and jewels of rich and exquisite form, their values great, and I am something curious, being strange, to have them in safe stowage. May it please you to take them in protection? Willingly, and pawn mine honor for their safety. Since my lord hath interest in them, I will keep them in my bedchamber. They are in a trunk, attended by my men. I will make bold to send them to you, only for this night. I must abode tomorrow. Yes, I beseech, or I shall shot my word by lengthening my return. From Gallier I cross the seas on purpose and on promise to see your grace. I thank you for your pains, but not away tomorrow. Oh, I must, madam, therefore I shall beseech you, if you please to greet your lord with writing, tonight. I have outstood my time, which is material to the tender of our present, I will write. Send your trunk to me, it shall safe be kept and truly yielded you. You're very welcome. Exeunt. Cymbeline by William Shakespeare. Uncopyright may you do good and not evil. May you find forgiveness for yourself and forgive others. May you share freely, never taking more than you give. Copyright pages exist to tell you that you can't do something. Unlike them, this uncopyright page exists to tell you that the writing and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. The United States public domain represents our collective cultural heritage, and items in it are free for anyone in the United States to do almost anything at all with, without having to get permission. Copyright laws are different all over the world, and the source text or artwork in this ebook may still be copyrighted in other countries. If you're not located in the United States, you must check your local laws before using this ebook. Standard ebooks makes no representations regarding the copyright status of the source text or artwork in this ebook in any country other than the United States. Non-authorship activities performed on items that are in the public domain, so-called sweat of the brow, work, don't create a new copyright. That means that nobody can claim a new copyright on an item that is in the public domain for, among other things, work like digitization, mock-up, or typography. Regardless, the contributors to this ebook released their contributions under the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain dedication, thus dedicating to the worldwide public domain all of the work they've done on this ebook, including but not limited to metadata, the title page, imprint, colophon, this uncopyright, and any changes or enhancements to, or mock-up on, the original text and artwork. This dedication doesn't change the copyright status of the source text or artwork. We make this dedication in the interest of enriching our global cultural heritage, to promote free and libre culture around the world, and to give back to the unrestricted culture that has given all of us so much. Table of Contents Landmarks, Act Roman 2 Sinai Britain, before Cymbeline's palace. I'll attend your lordship. Exeunt Cloten and First Lord. That such a crafty devil as is his mother should yield the world this ass, a woman that bears all down with her brain, and this her son cannot take 2 from 20 for his hot, and leave 18. Alas, poor princess, thou divine Imogen, what thou endurest, betwixt a father by thy stepdame governed, a mother hourly coining plots, a wooer more hateful than the foul expulsion is of thy dear husband, than that horrid act of the divorce he'ld make. The heavens hold firm the walls of thy dear honor, keep unshaked that temple, thy fair mind, that thou mayst stand, to enjoy thy banished lord in this great land. Exit. Scene Roman 2 Imogen's bedchamber in Cymbeline's palace. A trunk in one corner of it. I have read 3 hours then. Mine eyes are weak, fold down the leaf where I have left. To bed, take not away the taper, leave it burning, and if thou canst awake by 4 o' the clock, I prithee, call me. Sleep hath seized me wholly. Exit, lady. To your protection I commend me, gods, from fairies and the tempters of the night guard me, beseech ye, sleeps. Iachimo comes from the trunk. The crickets sing, and man's all-labored sense repairs itself by rest. Our Tarquin thus did softly press the rushes, ere he wakened the chastity he wounded. Cytherea, how bravely thou becomest thy bed, fresh lily and whiter than the sheets, that I might touch, but kiss, one kiss, rubies unparagoned, how dearly they dot. 'Tis her breathing that perfumes the chamber thus. The flame o' the taper bows toward her, and would underpeep her lids, to see the enclosed lights, now canopied under these windows, white and azure laced with blue of heaven's own tinct. But my design, to note the chamber. I will write all down, such and such pictures there the window, such the adornment of her bed, the arras, figures, why, such and such, and the contents o' the story. Ah, but some natural notes about her body, above 10,000 mina movables would testify, to enrich mine inventory. O sleep, thou ape of death, lie dull upon her, and be her sense but as a monument, thus in a chapel lying. Come off, taking off her bracelet. As slippery as the Gaudian knot was hard. 'Tis mine, and this will witness outwardly, as strongly as the conscience does within, to the matting of her laud. On her left breast a mole sink-spotted, like the crimson drops I the bottom of a cowslip. He is a voucher, stronger than ever law could make. This secret will force him think I have picked the lock and ta'en the treasure of her honor. No more. To what end? Why should I write this down, that's riveted, screwed to my memory? She hath been reading late the tale of Tereus, here the leaves turned down where Philomel gave up. I have enough, to the trunk again, and shut the spring of it. Swift, swift, you dragons of the night, that dawning may bear the raven's eye. I lodge in fear, though this a heavenly angel, hell is here. Clock strikes. 1, 2, 3, time, goes into the trunk. The scene closes. Scene Roman 3, an antechamber adjoining Imogen's apartments. Hark, hark, the lark at heaven's gate sings, and Phoebus gins arise, his steeds to water at those springs on chaliced flowers that lies, and winking merry buds begin to ope their golden eyes. With everything that pretty is, my lady sweet, arise, arise, arise. Attend you here the door of our stern daughter? Will she not forth? The exile of her minion is too new, she hath not yet forgot him. Some more time must wear the print of his remembrance out, and then she's yours. You are most bound to the king, who lets go by no vantages that may prefer you to his daughter. Frame yourself to audibly soliciting, and befriended with aptness of the season. Make denials increase your services, so seem as if you were inspired to do those duties which you tender to her, that you in all obey her, save when command to your dismission tends, and therein you are senseless. So like you, sir, ambassadors from Rome, the one is Caius Lucius, a worthy fellow, albeit he comes on angry purpose now, but that's no fault of his. We must receive him according to the honor of his sender, and towards himself, his goodness fospent on us, we must extend our notice. Our dear son, when you have given good morning to your mistress, attend the queen and us, we shall have need to employ you towards this Roman. Come, our queen, exeunt all but Cloten. If she be up, I'll speak with her, if not, let her lie still and dream. Nox, by your leave, ho, I know her women are about her. What if I do line one of their hands? 'Tis gold which buys admittance, oft it doth. Yea, and makes Diana's ranges false themselves, yield up their dear to the stando the stealer. And 'tis gold which makes the true man killed and saves the thief. Nay, sometime hangs both thief and true man. What can it not do and undo? I will make one of her women lawyer to me, for I yet not understand the case myself. Nox, by your leave, that's more than some, whose tailors are as dear as yours, can justly boast of. What's your lordship's pleasure? I to keep her chamber. There is gold for you, sell me your good report. How, my good name? Ought to report of you what I shall think is good. The princess? Good morrow, sir. You lay out too much pains for purchasing but trouble. The thanks I give is telling you that I am poor of thanks and scarce can spare them. If you but said so, 'twere as deep with me. If you swear still, your recompense is still that I regard it not. But that you shall not say I yield being silent, I would not speak. I pray you spare me. Faith, I shall unfold equal discourtesy to your best kindness. One of your great knowing should learn, being taught, forbearance. To leave you in your madness, 'twere my sin, I will not. As I am mad, I do. If you'll be patient, I'll no more be mad, that cures us both. I am much sorry, sir. You put me to forget a lady's manners by being so verbal. And learn now, for all, that I, which know my heart, do here pronounce, by the very truth of it, I care not for you, and am so near the lack of charity, to accuse myself, I hate you, which I had rather you felt than maked my boast. You sin against obedience, which you owe your father. For the contract you pretend with that base wretch, one bread of alms and fosted with cold dishes, with scraps o' the cot, it is no contract, none, and though it be allowed in meaner parties, yet who than he more mean? To knit their souls, on whom there is no more dependency but brats and beggary, in self figured not. Yet you are curbed from that enlargement by the consequence o' the crown, and must not soil the precious note of it with a base slave, a hilding for a livery, a squire's cloth, a pantler, not so eminent. Profane fellow wert thou the son of Jupiter and no more, but what thou art besides, thou wert too base to be his groom. Thou wert dignified enough, even to the point of envy, if 'twere made comparative for your virtues, to be styled the underhangman of his kingdom, and hated for being preferred so well. He never can meet more mischance than come to be but named of thee. His meanest garment that ever hath but clipped his body is dearer in my respect than all the hairs above thee, were they all made such men. How now, Pisanio? I am sprighted with a fool. Frighted, and angered worse. Go bid my woman search for a jewel that too casually hath left mine arm. It was thy master's. Shrew me, if I would lose it for a revenue of any kings in Europe. I do think I sought this morning, confident I am last night 'twas on mine arm. I kissed it. I hope it be not gone to tell my lord that I kiss aught but he. You have abused me. His meanest garment? I said so, sir. If you will make an action, call witness tot. Your mother too, she's my good lady, and will conceive, I hope, but the worst of me. So I leave you, sir, to the worst of discontent. Exit, I'll be revenged, his meanest garment. Well, Exit, scene Roman far Rome, Philario's house. Fear it not, sir. I would I were so sure to win the king as I am bold her honour will remain hers. Not any, but abide the change of time, quake in the present winter's state, and wish that warmer days would come. In these seared hopes, I barely gratify your love, they failing, I must die much your debtor. Your very goodness and your company pays all I can do. By this, your king hath heard of great Augustus. Caius Lucius will do's commission throughly, and I think he'll grant the tribute, send the arrearages, I'll look upon our Romans, whose remembrance is yet fresh in their grief. I do believe, status though I am none, nor like to be, that this will prove a war, and you shall hear the legions now in Gallia, sooner landed in our not fearing Britain, than have tidings of any penny tribute paid. Our countrymen are men more awed than when Julius Caesar smiled at their lack of skill, but found their courage worthy his frowning at. Their discipline, now mingled with their courages, will make known to their approvers they are people such that mend upon the world. The swiftest hearts have posted you by land, and winds of all the comers kissed your sails, to make your vessel nimble. I hope the briefness of your answer made the speediness of your return. Your lady is one of the fairest that I have looked upon, and therewithal the best. I'll let her beauty look through a casement to allure false hearts and be false with them. Was Caius Lucius in the Britain caught when you were there? He was expected then, but not approached. All is well yet. Sparkles this stone as it was wont, or is't not too dull for your good wearing? If I had lost it, I should have lost the worth of it in gold. I'll make a journey twice as far, to enjoy a second night of such sweet shotness which was mine in Britain, for the ring is won. Not a whit, your lady being so easy. Make not, sir, you'll lose your spot. I hope you know that we must not continue friends. Good sir, we must, if you keep covenant. Had I not brought the knowledge of your mistress home, I grant we were to question further, but I now profess myself the winner of her honour, together with your ring, and not the wronger of her are you, having proceeded but by both your wills. If you can make apparent that you have tasted her in bed, my hand and ring is yours. If not, the foul opinion you had of her pure honour gains, or loses your sod or mine, or masterless leaves both to who shall find them. Sir, my circumstances, being so near the truth as I will make them, must first induce you to believe, whose strength I will confirm with oath, which I doubt not. You'll give me leave to spare, when you shall find you need it not. First her bedchamber, where, I confess, I slept not, but profess had that was well worth watching. It was hanged with tapestry of silk and silver, the story proud Cleopatra, when she met her Roman, and Cydnus swelled above the banks, off for the press of boats or pride. A piece of work so bravely done, so rich, that it did strive in workmanship and value, which I wondered could be so rarely and exactly wrought, since the true life on't was, this is true, and this you might have heard of here by me, or by some other. More particulars must justify my knowledge, so they must, or do your honour injury. The chimney is south the chamber, and the chimney-piece chased Diane bathing. Never saw I figures so likely to repot themselves. The cutter was as another nature, dumb, out went her, motion and breath left out. This is a thing which you might from relation likewise reap, being, as it is, much spoke of. The roof o' the chamber with golden cherubins is fretted, her andirons, I had forgot them, were two winking cupids of silver, each on one foot standing, nicely depending on their brands. This is her honour. Let it be granted you have seen all this, and praise be given to your remembrance. The description of what is in her chamber nothing saves the wager you have laid. Then, if you can, showing the bracelet. Be pale, I beg but leave to air this jewel, see? And now 'tis up again, it must be married to that your diamond, I'll keep them. Jove, once more let me behold it. Is it that which I left with her? Sir, I thank her, that she stripped it from her arm, I see her yet. Her pretty action did outsell her gift, and yet enriched it too. She gave it me, and said she prized it once. Maybe she plucked it off to send it me? Oh no, 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 'tis true. Here, take this too, gives the ring. It is a basilisk unto mine eye, kills me to look on't. Let there be no honour where there is beauty, truth where semblance, love where there's another man. The vows of women of no more bondage be to where they are made than they are to their virtues, which is nothing. Oh, above measure false, have patience, sir, and take your ring again. 'Tis not yet won, it may be probable she lost it. Ah, who knows if one of her women, being corrupted, hath stol'n it from her? Very true, and so, I hope he came bite. Back my ring, render to me some corporal sign about her, more evident than this, for this was stolen. Hark you, he swears, by Jupiter he swears. 'Tis true, nay, keep the ring, 'tis true, I am sure she would not lose it, her attendants are all swan and honourable, they induced to steal it, and by a stranger? No, he hath enjoyed her, the cognizance of her incontinency is this, she hath bought the name of Haw thus dearly. there take thy hire, and all the fiends of hell divide themselves between you. Sir, be patient, this is not strong enough to be believed of one persuaded well of, never talk on't, she hath been colted by him. If you seek for further satisfying, under her breast, worthy the pressing, lies a mole, right proud of that most delicate lodging, by my life I kissed it, and it gave me present hunger to feed again, though full. You do remember this stain upon her? Aye, and it doth confirm another stain, as big as hell can hold were there no more but it. Spare your arithmetic, never count the turns once and a million, no swearing. If you will swear you have not, don't you lie, and I will kill thee if thou dost deny thou'st made me cuckold. Oh, that I had her here to tear her limb meal. I will go there and I the cot before her father. I'll do something exit, quite besides the government of patience. You have won, let's follow him, and pervert the present wrath he hath against himself. Scene V. Another room in Philario's house. Is there no way for men to be but women must be half workers? We are all bastards, and that most venerable man which I did call my father, was I know not where when I was stamped. Some coiner with his tools made me a counterfeit. Yet my mother seemed the Diane of that time, so doth my wife the non-peril of this. Oh, vengeance, vengeance! Me of my lawful pleasure she restrained and prayed me oft forbearance. Did it with a pudency so rosy the sweet view on't might well have warmed old Saturn, that I thought her as chaste as unsunned snow. Oh, all the devils, this yellow Iachimo, in an hour, wast not, or less, at first. Perchance he spoke not, but like a full-acorned boar, a German one cried, oh? And mounted, found no opposition but what he looked for should oppose, and she should from encounter God. Could I find out the woman's pot in me? For there's no motion that tends to vice in man, but I affirm it is the woman's pot. Be it lying, note it the woman's, flattering, hers, deceiving, hers, lust and rank thoughts, hers, revenges, hers, ambitions, covetings, change of prides, disdain, nice longing, slanders, mutability, all faults that may be named, nay, that hell knows why hers in pot or all, but rather, all. For even to vice they are not constant, but a changing still one vice, but of a minute old, for one not half so old as that. I'll write against them, detest them, curse them, yet 'tis great a skill in a true hate to pray they have their will, the very devils cannot plague them better. Exit. Act Roman 3 Scene Britain. A hall in Cymbeline's palace. When Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes and will to ears and tongues be theme and hearing ever, was in this Britain and conquered it, Cymbeline, thine uncle, famous in Caesar's praises, no whit less than in his feats deserving it, for him and his succession granted Rome a tribute, yearly 3,000 pounds, which by thee lately is left untended. And to kill the marvel shall be so ever. There be many Caesars, ere such another Julius. Britain is a world by itself, and we will nothing pay for wearing our own noses. That opportunity which then they had to take from's, to resume we have again. Remember, sir, my liege, the kings your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of your isle, which stands as Neptune's park, ribbed and paled in with rocks unscalable and roaring waters, with sands that will not bear your enemies' boats, but suck them up to the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, but made not here his brag of came and saw and overcame. With shame, the first that ever touched him, he was carried from off our coast twice beaten, and his shipping, poor ignorant baubles, upon our terrible seas like eggshells moved upon their surges, cracked as easily gainst our rocks. For joy whereof the famed Cymbeline, who was once at point, O giglot fortune, to master Caesar's sod, made Lud's town with rejoicing fires bright and Britons strut with courage. You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swelled so much that it did almost stretch the sides o' the world, against all colour here did put the yoke upon's, which to shake off becomes a warlike people, whom we reckon ourselves to be. Say then, to Caesar, our ancestor was that Mulmutius which ordained our laws, whose use the sod of Caesar hath too much mangled, whose repair and franchise shall, by the power we hold, be our good deed, though Rome be therefore angry. Mulmutius made our laws, who was the first of Britain which did put his brows within a golden crown and called himself a king. I am sorry, Cymbeline, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar, that hath more kings his servants than thyself domestic officers, thine enemy, receive it from me. Then, war and confusion in Caesar's name pronounce I against thee, look for fury not to be resisted. Thus defied, I thank thee for myself. Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me, my youth I spent much unto him, of him I gathered honour, which he to seek of me again, perforce, behoves me keep at utterance. I am perfect that the Pannonians and Dalmatians for their liberties are now in arms, a precedent which not to read would show the Britons cold, so Caesar shall not find them. I know your master's pleasure and he mine, all the remain is welcome. Exeunt. Scene room into another room in the palace. How, of adultery? Wherefore write you not what monsters her accuser? Leonatus? O master, what a strange infection is fallen into thy ear! What false Italian, as poisonous tongued as handed, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No, she's punished for her truth, and undergoes, more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. O my master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How that I should murder her, upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command, I her blood, if it be so to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How look I, that I should seem to lack humanity so much as this fact comes to? Reading. The letter that I have sent her, by her own command shall give the opportunity. O damned paper, black as the ink that's on thee, senseless bauble, art thou a feedery for this act, and look'st so virgin-like without? Lo, here she comes, I am ignorant in what I am commanded. Who, thy lord? That is my lord Leonatus? Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that knew the stars as I his characters, he'ld lay the future open. You good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content. Yet not that we two are asunder, let that grieve him, some griefs are medicinable. That is one of them, for it doth physic love, of his content all but in that. Good wax thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike, though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods, reads. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me, as you, O the dearest of creatures, would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria, at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you follow. So he wishes you all happiness, that remains loyal to his vow, and yaw, increasing in love, Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a hoss with wings! Hear'st thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read, and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of mean affairs may plod it in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then, true Pisanio, who longst like me to see thy lord, who longst, oh, let me bait, but not like me, yet longst, but in a fainter kind, oh, not like me, for minds beyond, say, and speak thick, love's counsellor should fill the bars of hearing, to the smothering of the sense, how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how we may steal from hence, and for the gap that we shall make in time, from our hence-going and our return, to excuse. But first, how get hence? Why should excuse be born or e'er begot? We'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee, speak, how many score of miles may we well ride twixt hour and hour? 1 score twixt sun and sun, madam, 's enough for you. Aside and too much too. Why, one that rode 'tis execution, man, could never go so slow. I have heard of riding wages, where hosses have been nimbler than the sands that run I the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go bid my woman feign a sickness, say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than would fit a franklin's housewife. I see before me, man, naw here, naw what ensues, but have a fog in them that I cannot look through. Away, I prithee, do as I bid thee, there's no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way. Exeunt. Scene Roman 3 Wales, a mountainous country with a cave, a goodly day not to keep house with such whose roof's as low as ours. Stoop, boys, this gate instructs you how to adore the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy office. The gates of monarchs are arched so high that giants may jet through and keep their impious turbans on, without good morrow to the sun. Hail, thou fair heaven, we house I the rock, yet use thee not so hardly as prouder livers do. Now for our mountain spot, up to yond hill, your legs are young, I'll tread these flats. Consider, when you above perceive me like a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off, and you may then revolve what tales I have told you of cots, of princes, of the tricks in war. This service is not service, so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us a profit from all things we see, and often, to our comfort, shall we find the shotted beetle in a safer hold than is the full-winged eagle. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a bauble, prouder than rustling in unpaid-for silk. Such gain the cap of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed, no life to ours. Out of your proof you speak. We, poor unfledged, have never winged from view o' the nest, nor know not what airs from home. Haply this life is best, if quiet life be best, sweeter to you that have a shop unknown, well corresponding with your stiff age, but unto us it is a cell of ignorance, travelling abed, a prison for a debtor, that not dares to stride a limit. What should we speak of when we are old as you? When we shall hear the rain and wind beat dark December, how, in this our pinching cave, shall we discourse the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtle as the fox for prey, like warlike as the wolf for what we eat. Our valor is to chase what flies, our cage we make acquire, as doth the prisoned bird, and sing our bondage freely. How you speak! Did you but know the city's usuries and felt them knowingly? The art o' the cot, as hard to leave as keep, whose top to climb is certain falling, are so slippery that the fear's as bad as falling. The toil o' the war, a pain that only seems to seek out danger i' the name of fame and honour, which dies i' the search, and hath as oft a slanderous epitaph as record of fair act, nay, many times, doth ill deserve by doing well. What's worse, must cotsy at the censure. O boys, this story the world may read in me. My body's mocked with Roman sods, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me, and when a soldier was the theme, my name was not far off. Then was I as a tree whose boughs did bend with fruit, but in one night, a storm or robbery, call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and left me bare to weather. My fault being nothing, as I have told you oft, but that two villains, whose false oaths prevailed before my perfect honour, swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment, and this 20 years this rock and these demesnes have been my world, where I have lived at honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the forend of my time. But up to the mountains? This is not hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be the lord o' the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison, which attends in place of great estate. I'll meet you in the valleys. Exeunt Gydrius and Arviragus. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature? These boys know little they are sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly i' the cave wherein they bow, their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Polydore, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Gydrius, Jove? When on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story. Say thus, mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on's neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek, he sweats, strains his young nerves and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwal, once Arviragus, in as like a figure, strikes life into my speech and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is roused, O Cymbeline! Heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon, at 3 years old, I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession, as thou reft'st me of my lands. Europhile, thou wast their nurse. They took thee for their mother, and every day do honour to her grave. Myself, Belarius, that am Morgan called, they take for natural father. The game is up. Exit. Seen Roman far country near Milford Haven. Thou toldst me when we came from Hos, the place was near at hand. Ne'er longed my mother so to see me first as I have now. Pisanio, man, where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from the inward of thee? One, but painted thus, would be interpreted a thing perplexed beyond self-explication. Put thyself into a haviour of less fear, ere wildness vanquish my staid senses. What's the matter? Why tendest thou that paper to me with a look untender? If be summer news, smile taught before, if winterly, thou needst but keep that countenance still. My husband's hand, that drug-damned Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man. Thy tongue may take off some extremity, which to read would be even mortal to me. Please you read, and you shall find me, wretched man, a thing the most disdained of fortune. Reads. Thy mistress, Pisanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed, the testimonies whereof lie bleeding in me. I speak not out of weak surmises, but from proof as strong as my grief, and as certain as I expect my revenge. That pot thou, Pisanio, must act for me, if thy faith be not tainted with the breach of hers. Let thine own hands take away her life. I shall give thee opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose. Where, if thou fear to strike and to make me certain it is done, thou art the panda to her dishonour and equally to me disloyal. What shall I need to draw my sword? The paper hath cut her throat already. No, 'tis slander, whose edge is sharper than the sword, whose tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile, whose breath rides on the posting winds and doth belie all corners of the world. Kings, queens, and states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave this viperous slander enters. What cheer, madam? False to his bed, What is it to be false, to lie and watch there and to think on him, to weep twixt clock and clock, if sleep charge nature, to break it with a fearful dream of him and cry myself awake? That's false 'tis bed, is it? I false? Thy conscience witness? I a chimo, thou didst accuse him of incontinency, thou then look'st like a villain. Now methinks thy favour's good enough. Some jay of Italy whose mother was her painting, hath betrayed him. Poor I am stale, a garment out of fashion. And for I am richer than to hang by the walls, I must be ripped to pieces with me? Oh, men's vows are women's traitors? All good seeming by thy revolt, O husband, shall be thought put on for villainy, not bon wet grows but want a bait for ladies. True honest men being heard like false Aeneas, were in his time thought false, and Sinon's weeping did scandal many a holy tear, took pity from most true wretchedness. So thou, Posthumus, wilt lay the leaven on all proper men, goodly and gallant shall be false and perjured from thy great fail. Come, fellow, be thou honest, do thou thy master's bidding. When thou seest him, a little witness my obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself, take it and hit the innocent mansion of my love, my heart, fear not. 'Tis empty of all things but grief, thy master is not there, who was indeed the riches of it. Do his bidding, strike. Thou mayst be valiant in a better cause, but now thou seemst a coward. Hence, vile instrument, thou shalt not damn my hand. Why, I must die, and if I do not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. Against self-slaughter there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Come, here's my heart, something's of fought, soft, soft, will no defense, obedient as the scabbard. What is here? The scriptures of the loyal Leonatus, all turned to heresy? Away, away, corrupters of my faith, you shall no more be stomachers to my heart. Thus may poor fools believe false teachers, though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply, yet the traitor stands in worse case of woe. And thou, Posthumus, thou that didst set up my disobedience gainst the king my father, and make me put into contempt the suits of princely fellows, shalt hereafter find it is no act of common passage, but a strain of rareness. And I grieve myself to think, when thou shalt be disedged by her that now thou tiest on, how thy memory will then be panged by me. Prithee, dispatch. The lamb entreats the butcher. Where's thy knife? Thou art too slow to do thy master's bidding, when I desire it too. O gracious lady, since I received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink. Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretence? This place, mine action and thine own, our horses' labour, the time inviting thee, the perturbed caught for my being absent, whereunto I never purpose return. Why hast thou gone so far, to be unbent when thou hast ta'en thy stand, the elected dear before thee, but to win time to lose so bad employment, in the which I have considered of a cause? Good lady, hear me with patience. Talk thy tongue weary, speak. I have heard I am a strumpet, and mine ear therein false struck can take no great a wound, nor tent to bottom that. But speak. Then, madam, I thought you would not back again. Most like, bringing me here to kill me. Not so neither. But if I were as wise as honest, then my purpose would prove well. It cannot be but that my master is abused, some villain, aye, and singular in his art, hath done you both this cursed injury. No, on my life, I'll give but notice you are dead and send him some bloody sign of it, for 'tis commanded I should do so. You shall be mystic caught, and that will well confirm it. Why, good fellow, what shall I do the where bide? How live? Or in my life what comfort when I am dead to my husband? No cot, no father. No more ado with that harsh, noble, simple nothing, that Cloten, whose love suit hath been to me as fearful as a siege. If not at cot, then not in Britain must you bide. Where then? Hath Britain all the sun that shines? Day, night, are they not but in Britain? I the world's volume our Britain seems as of it, but not in't, in a great pool a swan's nest. Prithee, think there's livers out of Britain. I am most glad you think of other place. The ambassador, Lucius the Roman, comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you could wear a mind dock as your fortune is, and but disguise that which, to appear itself, must not yet be, but by self-danger, you should tread a course pretty and full of view. Yea, haply, near the residence of Posthumus, so nigh at least that though his actions were not visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear as truly as he moves. Oh, for such means, though peril to my modesty, not death on't, I would adventure. Well, then, here's the point, you must forget to be a woman. Change command into obedience, fear and niceness. The handmaids of all women are, more truly, woman its pretty self into a waggish courage, ready in jibes, quick-answered, saucy and as querulous as the weasel. Nay, you must forget that rarest treasure of your cheek, exposing it. But oh, the hot, alack, no remedy? To the greedy touch of common kissing Titan, and forget your laboursome and dainty trims, wherein you made great Juno angry. Nay, be brief, I see into thy end, and am almost a man already. First make yourself but like one. For thinking this, I have already fit, 'tis in my cloak bag, doublet, hat, hose, all that answer to them. Would you in there serving, and with what imitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, fa noble Lucius present yourself, desire his service, tell him wherein you're happy, which you'll make him know. If that his head have ear in music, doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he's honourable and doubling that, most holy. Your means abroad you have me rich, and I will never fail beginning na supplement. Thou art all the comfort the gods will diet me with. Prithee, away, there's more to be considered, but will even all that good time will give us. This attempt I am soldier to, and will abide it with a prince's courage. Away, I prithee. Well, madam, we must take a shot farewell, lest, being missed, I be suspected of your carriage from the cot. My noble mistress, here is a box, I had it from the queen. What's in't is precious, if you are sick at sea, or stomach qualmed at land, a dram of this will drive away distemper. 'Tis some shade and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best, seen via room in Cymbeline's palace. Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote, I must from hence, and am right sorry that I must report ye my master's enemy. Our subjects, sir, will not endure his yoke, and for ourself to show less sovereignty than they, must needs appear unkinglike. So, sir, I desire of you a conduct overland to Milford Haven. Madam, all joy befall your grace. My lords, you are appointed for that office, the due of honour in no point omit. So farewell, noble Lucius. Receive it friendly, but from this time forth I wear it as your enemy. Sir, the event is yet to name the winner, fare you well. Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till he have crossed the 7. Happiness? Exeunt Lucius and lauds. He goes hence frowning, but it honours us that we have given him cause. 'Tis all the better, your valiant Britons have their wishes in it. Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how it goes here. It fits us therefore ripely our chariots and our horsemen be in readiness. The powers that he already hath in Gallia will soon be drawn to head, from whence he moves his war for Britain. 'Tis not sleepy business, but must be looked to speedily and strongly. Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. But, my gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tended the duty of the day. She looks us like a thing more made of malice than of duty, we have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance. Exit an attendant. Royal sir, since the exile of Posthumus, most retired hath her life been. The cure whereof, my lord, 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty, forbear sharp speeches to her. She's a lady so tender of rebukes that words are strokes and strokes death to her. Where is she, sir? How can her contempt be answered? Please you, sir, her chambers are all locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loudest noise we make. My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me to excuse her keeping close. Whereto constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you, which daily she was bound to proffer. This she wished me to make known, but our great cot made me to blame in memory. Her doors locked, not seen of late, grant heavens that which I fear prove false. Exit. That man of hers, Pisanio, her old servant, I have not seen these 2 days. Go, look after. Exit Cloten. Pisanio, thou that standst so for Posthumus? He hath a drug of mine. I pray his absence proceed by swallowing that, for he believes it is a thing most precious. But for her, where is she gone? Haply despair hath seized her, or, winged with fervour of her love, she's flown to her desired Posthumus. Gone she is to death or to dishonour, and my end can make good use of either. She being down, I have the placing of the British crown. 'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king, he rages, none dare come about him. Aside, all the better, may this night forestall him of the coming day. Exit. I love and hate her, for she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly parts more exquisite than ladies, woman. From every one the best she hath, and she, of all compounded, outsells them all. I love her therefore. But disdaining me and throwing favours on the low Posthumus slanders so her judgment that what's else rare is choked. And in that point I will conclude to hate her, nay, indeed, to be revenged upon her. For when fools shall, who is here? What are you packing, sirrah? Come hither. Ah, you precious panda, villain, where is thy lady? In a word, or else thou art straightway with the fiends. Where is thy lady? Ah, by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Close villain, I'll have this secret from thy heart, or rip thy heart to find it. Is she with Posthumus, from whose so many weights of baseness cannot a dram of worth be drawn? Alas, my lord, how can she be with him? When was she missed? He is in Rome. Where is she, sir? Come nearer, no further halting. Satisfy me home what is become of her. All worthy villain, discover where thy mistress is at once at the next word. No more of worthy laud, speak, or thy silence on the instant is thy condemnation and thy death. Then, sir, this paper is the history of my knowledge touching her flight. Presenting a letter, let's seat, I will pursue her even to Augustus' throne. Aside, or this, or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travel, not her danger. Aside, I'll write to my lord she's dead. O Imogen, safe mayst thou wander, safe return again. Thou bidst me to my loss. For true to thee were to prove false, which I will never be, to him that is most true. To Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow, you heavenly blessings on her. This fool's speed be crossed with slowness, labor be his meed. Exit. Scene vi Wales, before the cave of Belarius. I see a man's life is a tedious one. I have tired myself, and for 2 nights together have made the ground my bed. I should be sick, but that my resolution helps me. Milford, when from the mountain-top Pisanio showed thee, thou wast within a ken. O Jove? I think foundations fly the wretched, such I mean, where they should be relieved. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie, that have afflictions on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or trial? Yes, no wonder, when rich ones scarce tell true. To lapse in fullness is sorer than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than beggars. My dear lord, thou art one o' the false ones. Now I think on thee my hunger's gone, but even before I was at point to sink for food. But what is this? Here is a path taught, 'tis some savage hold. I were best not to call, I dare not call, yet famine, ere clean it o'erthrow nature, makes it valiant. Plenty and peace breeds cowards, hardness ever of haughtiness is mother. Ho, who's here? If anything that's civil, speak, if savage, take a lend. Ho, no answer? Then I'll enter. Best draw my sword, and if mine enemy but fear the sword like me, he'll scarcely look on't. Such a foe, good heavens! Exit to the cave. You, Polydore, have proved best woodman and a master of the feast. Cadwal and I will play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match, the sweat of industry would dry and die, but for the end it works to. Come, our stomachs will make what's homely savory. Weariness can snore upon the flint when resty sloth finds the down pillow hard. Now peace be here, poor house, that keeps thyself. There is cold meat I the cave, we'll browse on that, whilst what we have killed be cooked. Looking into the cave, stay, come not in. But that it eats our victuals, I should think here were a fairy. By Jupiter, an angel, or if not, an earthly paragon. Behold divineness no elder than a boy. Good masters, harm me not, before I entered here, I called, and thought to have begged or bought what I have took. Good troth, I have stolen naught, nor would not, though I had found gold strewed I the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the bod so soon as I had made my meal, and potted with prayers for the provider. All gold and silver rather turn to dirt, as 'tis no better reckoned, but of those who worship dirty gods. I see you're angry. No, if you kill me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it. Fidel, sir, I have a kinsman who is bound for Italy. He embarked at Milford, to whom being going, almost spent with hunger, I am fallen in this offence. Prithee, fair youth, think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered? 'Tis almost night, you shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay and eat it. Boys, bid him welcome. Were you a woman, youth, I should woo hard but be your groom. In honesty I bid for you as I'ld buy. I'll make my comfort he is a man, I'll love him as my brother. And such a welcome as I'ld give to him after long absence, such as yours, most welcome? Be sprightly, for you fall mongst friends if brothers. Aside, would it had been so that they had been my father's sons. Then had my prize been less, and so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus. Or I, whate'er it be, what pain it cost, what danger. God's great men that had a cot no bigger than this cave, that did attend themselves and had the virtue which their own conscience sealed them, laying by that nothing gift of differing multitudes, could not outpeer these twain. Pardon me, gods, I'll change my sex to be companion with them, since Leonatus is false. It shall be so. Boys, we'll go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in, discourse is heavy, fasting. When we have supped, we'll manly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it. Scene Romans 7 Rome, a public place. This is the tenor of the emperor's writ, that since the common men are now in action gainst the Pannonians and Dalmatians, and that the legions now in Gallia are full weak to undertake our wars against the fallen off Britons, that we do incite the gentry to this business. He creates Lucius proconsul, and to you the tribunes, for this immediate levy, he commends his absolute commission. Long live Caesar, with those legions which I have spoke of, whereunto your levy must be suppliant. The words of your commission will tie you to the numbers and the time of their dispatch. Act Roman 4 Sinai Wales, near the cave of Belarius. Scene Roman 2 before the cave of Belarius. To Imogen, you are not well. Remain here in the cave, we'll come to you after hunting. To Imogen, brother, stay here, are we not brothers? So man and man should be, but clay and clay differs in dignity, whose dust is both alike. I am very sick, so sick I am not, yet I am not well, but not so citizen a wanton as to seem to die ere sick, so please you, leave me. Stick to your journal costs, the breach of custom is breach of all. I am ill, but your being by me cannot amend me. Society is no comfort to one not sociable. I am not very sick, since I can reason of it. Pray you, trust me here, I'll rob none but myself, and let me die, stealing so poorly. I love thee, I have spoke it, how much the quantity, the weight as much as I do love my father. If it be sin to say so, sir, I yoke me in my good brother's fault. I know not why I love this youth, and I have heard you say, love's reasons without reason. The beer at daw, and a demand who ist shall die, I'ld say my father, not this youth. Aside, O noble strain, O worthiness of nature, breed of greatness, cowards father cowards and base things sire base, nature hath meal and bran, contempt and grace. I'm not their father, yet who this should be, doth miracle itself, loved before me. 'Tis the 9th hour o' the morn. Aside, these are kind creatures. Gods, what lies I have heard. Our courtiers say all savage but at caught. Experience, oh, thou disprovest report. The imperious seas breed monsters, for the dish pour tributary rivers as sweet fish. I am sick still, hot sick, Pisanio, I'll now taste of thy drug. Swallows some. I could not stir him. He said he was gentle, but unfortunate, dishonestly afflicted, but yet honest. Thus did he answer me, yet said hereafter I might no more. To the field, to the field? We'll leave you for this time, go in and rest. Pray be not sick, for you must be our housewife. Well or ill, I am bound to you, and shalt be ever. Exit Imogen to the cave. This youth, how a distressed, appears he hath had good ancestors. But his neat cookery? He cut our roots in characters, and sauced our broths, as Juno had been sick and he her dieter. Nobly he yokes us smiling with a sigh, as if the sigh was that it was, for not being such a smile, the smile mocking the sigh, that it would fly from so divine a temple, to commix with winds that sailors rail at. I do note that grief and patience, rooted in him both, mingle their spurs together. Grow patience, and let the stinking elder grief untwine his perishing root with the increasing vine. I cannot find those runagates that villain hath mocked me. I am faint. Those runagates, means he not us, I partly know him. 'Tis Cloten, the son o' the queen, I fear some ambush, I saw him not these many years, and yet I know 'tis he. We are held as outlaws, hence, he is but one. You and my brother search what companies are near, pray you away, let me alone with him. Exeunt Belarius and Arviragus. Soft, what are you that fly me thus? Some villain mountaineers? I have heard of such. What slave art thou? A thing more slavish did I ne'er than answering a slave without a knock. Thou art a robber, a lawbreaker, a villain. Yield thee, thief. To who? To thee? What art thou? Have not I an arm as big as thine, a heart as big, thy words I grant are bigger, for I wear not my dagger in my mouth. Say what thou art, why I should yield to thee. Thou villain base, know'st me not by my clothes, no, nor thy tailor rascal, who is thy grandfather? He made those clothes which, as it seems, make thee. Thou precious varlet, my tailor made them not. Hence then, and thank the man that gave them thee. Thou art some fool, I am loath to beat thee. Thou injurious thief, hear but my name, and tremble. Cloten, thou double villain, be thy name, I cannot tremble at it. Were it toad or adder spider, 'twould move me sooner. To thy further fear, nay, to thy mere confusion, thou shalt know I am son to the queen. I am sorry fought, not seeming so worthy as thy birth. Those that I reverence, those I fear, the wise. At fools I laugh, not fear them. Die the death, when I have slain thee with my proper hand, I'll follow those that even now fled hence, and on the gates of Ludstown set your heads. Yield, rustic mountaineer. Exeunt fighting? I cannot tell. Long is it since I saw him, but time hath nothing blurred those lines of favour which then he wore. The snatches in his voice and burst of speaking, whereas his, I am absolute 'twas very Cloten. In this place we left them. I wish my brother make good time with him, you say he is so fell. Being scarce made up, I mean, to man, he had not apprehension of roaring terrors, for the effect of judgment is oft the cause of fear. But see thy brother. This Cloten was a fool, an empty purse, there was no money in't. Not Hercules could have knocked out his brains, for he had none. Yet I not doing this, the fool had borne my head as I do his. I am perfect what? Cut off one Cloten's head, son to the queen, after his own report. Who called me traitor, mountaineer, and swore with his own single hand he'ld take us in, displace our heads where, thank the gods, they grow, and set them on Ludstown. Why, worthy father, what have we to lose, but that he swore to take our lives? The law protects not us. Then why should we be tended to let an arrogant piece of flesh threat us, play judge and executioner all himself? For we do fear the law. What company discover you abroad? No single soul can we set eye on, but in all safe reason he must have some attendance. Though his humor was nothing but mutation, and that from one bad thing to worse. Not frenzy, not absolute madness could so far have raved to bring him here alone, although perhaps it may be heard at court that such as we cave here, hunt here, are outlaws, and in time may make some stronger head, the which he hearing, as it is like him, might break out and swear he'll fetch us in, yet is't not probable to come alone, either he so undertaking, or they so suffering. Then on good ground we fear, if we do fear this body hath a tail more perilous than the head. Let ordinance come as the gods say it. Howsoever, my brother hath done well. I had no mind to hunt this day, the boy Fidel's sickness did make my way long forth. With his own sword, which he did wave against my throat, I have ta'en his head from him. I'll throw it into the creek behind our rock, and let it to the sea, and tell the fishes he's the queen's son, Cloten, that's all I reck. Exit. I fear 'twill be revenged, would Polydore thou hadst not don't, though valour becomes thee well enough. Would I had don't, so the revenge alone pursued me? Polydore, I love thee brotherly, but envy much thou hast robbed me of this deed. I would revenges, that possible strength might meet, would seek us through and put us to our answer. Well, 'tis done, we'll hunt no more today, nor seek for danger where there's no profit. I prithee to our rock. You and Fidel play the cooks, I'll stay till hasty Polydore return, and bring him to dinner presently. Poor sick Fidel? I'll willingly to him. To gain his colour I'll let a parish of such Cloten's blood, and praise myself for charity. Exit. O thou goddess, thou divine nature, how thyself thou blazonst in these two princely boys. They are as gentle as zephyrs blowing below the violet, not wagging his sweet head, and yet as rough, their royal blood enchafed, as the rudest wind, that by the top doth take the mountain pine, and make him stoop to the vale. 'Tis wonder that an invisible instinct should frame them to royalty unlearned, honor untaught, civility not seen from other, valor that wildly grows in them, but yields a crop as if it had been sowed. Yet still it's strange what Cloten's being here to us portends, or what his death will bring us. Where's my brother? I have sent Cloten's clutpole down the stream, in embassy to his mother, his body's hostage for his return. Solemn music. My ingenious instrument, hark, Polydore it sounds, but what occasion hath Cadwal now to give it motion? Hark, what does he mean? Since death of my dearest mother it did not speak before. All solemn things should answer solemn accidents. The matter, triumphs for nothing and lamenting toys is jollity for apes and grief for boys. Is Cadwal mad? Look, here he comes, and brings the dire occasion in his arms of what we blame him for. The bird is dead that we have made so much on. I had rather have skipped from 16 years of age to 60, to have turned my leaping time into a crutch, than have seen this. O sweetest, fairest lily, my brother wears thee not the one half so well, as when thou grewst thyself. O melancholy, who ever yet could sound thy bottom, find the ooze, to show what coast thy sluggish crea might easiliest harbour in. Thou blessed thing! Jove knows what man thou mightst have made, but thou deedst a most rare boy of melancholy. How found you him? Stark, as you see, thus smiling, as some fly hid tickled slumber, not as death's dot, being laughed at, his right cheek reposing on a cushion. Oh, the flaw, his arms thus leagued, I thought he slept, and put my clouted brogues from off my feet, whose rudeness answered my steps too loud. Why, he but sleeps. If he be gone, he'll make his grave a bed, with female fairies will his tomb be haunted, and worms will not come to thee. With fairest flowers whilst summer lasts and I live here, Fidel, I'll sweeten thy sad grave. Thou shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose, nor the azur'd harebell, like thy veins, no, nor the leaf of eglantine, whom not to slander, outsweetened not thy breath, the ruddock wood, with charitable bill, O Bill, saw shaming those rich left heirs that let their fathers lie without a monument. Bring thee all this, yea, and furred moss besides, when flowers are none, to winterground thy cause. Prithee have done, and do not play in wench-like words with that which is so serious. Let us bury him, and not protract with admiration what is now due debt. To the grave, bet so, and let us, Polydore, though now our voices have got the mannish crack, sing him to the ground, as once our mother, use like note and words, save that Europhile must be Fidel. Cadwal, I cannot sing, I'll weep and word it with thee, for notes of sorrow out of tune are worse than priests and fanes that lie. Great griefs I see, medicine the less, for Cloten is quite forgot. He was a queen's son, boys, and though he came our enemy, remember he was paid for that. though mean and mighty, rotting together, have one dust, yet reverence that angel of the world doth make distinction of place tween high and low. Our foe was princely, and though you took his life as being our foe, yet bury him as a prince. Pray you fetch him hither. Thersight's body is as good as Ajax when neither are alive. If you'll go fetch him, we'll say our song the whilst. Brother, begin, exit Belarius. Nay, Cadwal, we must lay his head to the east, my father hath a reason fought. Fear no more the heat o' the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task haste done, home art gone, and ta'en thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust. Fear no more the frown o' the great, thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat. To thee the reed is as the oak. The sceptre, learning, physic, must all follow this and come to dust. Fear no more the lightning flash, nor the all-dreaded thunderstone. Fear not slander, censure rash, thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exercise harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee, ghost unlaid forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee, quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave. Here's a few flowers, but 'bout midnight, ma, the herbs that have on them cold dew o' the night are strewings fixed for graves. Upon their faces you were as flowers, now withered, even so these herblets shall, which we upon you strew. Come on away, apart upon our knees. The ground that gave them first has them again, their pleasures here are past, so is their pain. Exeunt Belarius, Gydrius, and Arviragus, awaking. Yes, sir, to Milford Haven, which is the way? I thank you. By yon bush? Pray, how far thither, odds pitikins, can it be 6 mile yet? I have gone all night. Faith, I'll lie down and sleep. But soft, no bedfellow. O gods and goddesses, seeing the body of Cloten. These flowers are like the pleasures of the world, this bloody man, the care on't. I hope I dream, for so I thought I was a cave-keeper and cook to honest creatures. But 'tis not so. 'Twas but a bolt of nothing, shot at nothing, which the brain makes of fumes. Our very eyes are sometimes like our judgments, blind. Good faith, I tremble stiff with fear. But if there be yet left in heaven as small a drop of pity as a wren's eye, feared gods a part of it, the dream's here still. Even when I wake, it is without me as within me, not imagined, felt. A headless man, the garments of Posthumus, I know the shape of his leg. This is his hand, his foot mercurial, his martial thigh, the bronze of Hercules, but his jovial face, murder in heaven? How? 'Tis gone. Pisanio, all curses matted Hecuba gave the Greeks, and mine to boot, be dotted on thee. Thou, conspired with that irregulous devil, Cloten, haste here cut off my laud. To write and read be henceforth treacherous. Damned Pisanio hath with his forged letters, damned Pisanio, from this most bravest vessel of the world struck the maintop. O Posthumus, alas, where is thy head, where's that? Ay me, where's that? Pisanio might have killed thee at the heart and left this head on. How should this be? Pisanio, 'tis he and Cloten, malice and lucre in them have laid this woe here. Oh, 'tis pregnant, pregnant. The drug he gave me, which he said was precious and cordial to me, have I not found it murderous to the senses? That confirms at home. This is Pisanio's deed and Cloten's. Oh, give colour to my pale cheek with thy blood, that we the horrida may seem to those which chance to find us. Oh, my lord, falls on the body. To them the legions garrisoned in Gallia, after your will, have crossed the sea, attending you here at Milford Haven with your ships, they are in readiness. The Senate hath stirred up the confiners and gentlemen of Italy, most willing spirits, that promise noble service, and they come under the conduct of bold Iachimo, Sienna's brother. This forwardness makes our hopes fair. Command our present numbers be mustered, bid the captains look taut. Now, sir, what have you dreamed of late of this war's purpose? Last night the very gods showed me a vision. I fast and prayed for their intelligence. Thus, I saw Jove's bird, the Roman eagle, winged from the spongy south to this part of the west, there vanished in the sunbeams, which portends, unless my sins abuse my divination, success to the Roman host. Dream often so, and never false. Soft, ho, what trunk is here without his top? The ruin speaks that sometime it was a worthy building. How, a page, or dead, or sleeping on him? But dead rather, for nature doth abhor to make his bed with the defunct, or sleep upon the dead. Let's see the boy's face. He'll then instruct us of this body. Young one, inform us of thy fortunes, for it seems they crave to be demanded. Who is this thou makest thy bloody pillow? Or who was he that, otherwise than noble nature did, hath altered that good picture? What's thy interest in this sad wreck? How came it? Who is it? What art thou? I am nothing, or if not, nothing to be were better. This was my master, a very valiant Briton and a good that here by mountaineers lies slain. Alas, there is no more such masters. I may wander from east to occident, cry out for service, try many, all good, serve truly, never find such another master. Lack good youth? Thou movest no less with thy complaining than thy master in bleeding. Say his name, good friend. Richard Du Champ, aside, if I do lie and do no harm by it, though the gods hear, I hope they'll pardon it. Say you, sir? Thou dost approve thyself the very same, thy name well fits thy faith thy name. Wilt take thy chance with me? I will not say thou shalt be so well mastered, but, be sure, no less beloved. The Roman emperor's letters, sent by a consul to me, should not sooner than thine own worth prefer thee. Go with me. I'll follow, sir. But first, an't please the gods, I'll hide my master from the flies as deep as these poor pickaxes can dig. And when with wild wood leaves and weeds I ha strewed his grave, and on it said a century of prayers, such as I can twice awe, I'll weep and sigh, and leaving so his service follow you, so please you entertain me. I, good youth, and rather father thee than master thee. My friends, the boy hath taught us manly duties. Let us find out the prettiest daisied plot we can, and make him with our pikes and partisans a grave. Come, arm him. Boy, he is preferred by thee to us, and he shall be interred as soldiers can. Be cheerful, wipe thine eyes, some falls are means the happier to arise. Exeunt. Scene Roman 3, a room in Cymbeline's palace. Again, and bring me word how 'tis with her. Exit an attendant. A fever with the absence of her son, a madness of which her life's in danger. Heavens, how deeply you at once do touch me! Imogen, the great pot of my comfort, gone, my queen upon a desperate bed, and in a time when fearful woes point at me, her son gone, so needful for this present, it strikes me, past the hope of comfort. But for thee, fellow, who needs must know of her departure and dost seem so ignorant, will enforce it from thee by a sharp torture. Sir, my life is yours, I humbly set it at your will, but for my mistress I nothing know where she remains, why gone, nor when she purposes return. Beseech your highness, hold me your loyal servant. Good my liege, the day that she was missing he was here. I dare be bound he's true, and shall perform all parts of his subjection loyally. For Cloten, there wants no diligence in seeking him, and will, no doubt, be found. The time is troublesome. To Pisanio, we'll slip you for a season, but our jealousy does yet depend. So please your majesty, the Roman legions, all from Gallia drawn, are landed on your coast, with a supply of Roman gentlemen, by the Senate sent. Now for the counsel of my son and queen, I am amazed with matter. Good my liege, your preparation can affront no less than what you hear of. Come ma, for ma you're ready. The want is but to put those powers in motion that long to move. I thank you. Let's withdraw, and meet the time as it seeks us. We fear not what can from Italy annoy us, but we grieve at chances here. Away? Exeunt all but Pisanio. I heard no letter from my master since I wrote him Imogen was slain. 'Tis strange, nor hear I from my mistress, who did promise to yield me often tidings. Neither know I what is betid to Cloten, but remain perplexed in all. The heavens still must work. Wherein I am false I am honest, not true to be true. These present wars shall find I love my country, even to the note o' the king, or I'll fall in them. All other doubts, by time let them be cleared. Fortune brings in some boats that are not steered. Exit. Scene Roman 4 Wales, before the cave of Belarius. What pleasure, sir, find we in life to look it from action and adventure? Nay, what hope have we in hiding us? This way the Romans must offer Britons slay us, or receive us for barbarous and unnatural revolts during their use, and slay us after. Sons will hire to the mountains, there secure us. To the king's party there's no going. Newness of Cloten's death, we being not known, not mustered among the bands, may drive us to a render where we have lived, and so extort froms that which we have done, whose answer would be death drawn on with torture. This is, sir, a doubt in such a time nothing becoming you, nor satisfying us. It is not likely that when they hear the Roman horses neigh, behold their quatted fires, have both their eyes and ears so cloyed impotently as now, that they will waste their time upon our note, to know from whence we are. Oh, I am known of many in the army. Many years, though Cloten then but young, you see, not waw him from my remembrance. And besides, the king hath not deserved my service nor your loves, who find in my exile the want of breeding, the certainty of this hard life. I hopeless to have the courtesy your cradle promised, but to be still hot summer's tanlings and the shrinking slaves of winter, than be so better to cease to be. Pray, sir, to the army, I and my brother are not known, yourself so out of thought and the two so o'ergrown, cannot be questioned. By this sun that shines, I'll thither. What thing is it that I never did see man die? Scarce ever looked on blood, but that of coward hares, hot goats, and venison. Never bestrid a hoss, save one that had a rider like myself, who ne'er wore rowel nor iron on his heel. I am ashamed to look upon the holy sun, to have the benefit of his blessed beams, remaining so long a poor unknown. By heavens, I'll go. If you will bless me, sir, and give me leave, I'll take the better care. But if you will not, the hazard therefore do fall on me by the hands of Romans. No reason I, since of your lives you set so slight a valuation, should reserve my cracked one to more care. Have with you, boys? If in your country was you chance to die, that is my bed too, lads, and there I'll lie. Lead. Aside, the time seems long, their blood thinks scorn, till it fly out and show them princes born. Exeunt. Act v. Scene Britain, the Roman camp. Yea, bloody cloth, I'll keep thee, for I wished thou shouldst be coloured thus. You married ones, if each of you should take this cost, how many must murder wives much better than themselves for wrying but a little? O Pisanio? Every good servant does not all commands, no bond but to do just ones. Gods, if you should have ta'en vengeance on my faults, I never had lived to put on this. So had you saved the noble Imogen to repent, and struck me, wretch more worth your vengeance. But alack, you snatch some hence for little faults, that's love, to have them fall no more. You some permit to second ills with ills, each elder worse, and make them dread it, to the doer's thrift. But Imogen is your own. Do your best wills, and make me blessed to obey? I am brought hither among the Italian gentry, and to fight against my lady's kingdom. 'Tis enough that, Britain, I have killed thy mistress, peace, I'll give no wound to thee. Therefore, good heavens, hear patiently my purpose. I'll disrobe me of these Italian weeds and suit myself as does a Briton peasant. So I'll fight against the pot I come with. So I'll die for thee, O Imogen, even for whom my life is every breath a death. And thus, unknown, pitied nor hated, to the face of peril myself I'll dedicate. Let me make men no more valor in me than my habits show. Gods, put the strength o' the Leonati in me. To shame the guise o' the world, I will begin the fashion, less without and more within. Exit. Scene Roman 2 Field of battle between the British and Roman camps. The heaviness and guilt within my bosom takes off my manhood. I have belied a lady, the princess of this country, and the air on't revengingly enfeebles me. Or could this call, a very drudge of nature's, have subdued me in my profession? Knighthoods and honours, born as I wear mine, are titles but of scorn. If that thy gentry, Britain, go before this lout as he exceeds our lauds, the odds is that we scarce are men and you are gods. Exit. Stand, we have the advantage of the ground, the lane is guarded, nothing routs us but the villainy of our fears. Away, boy, from the troops and save thyself, for friends kill friends and the disorders such as war were hoodwinked. It is a day turned strangely, or betimes let's reinforce or fly. Exeunt. Scene Roman 3 Another part of the field. I did, though you, it seems, come from the flyers. No blame be to you, sir, for all was lost but that the heavens fought. The king himself of his wings destitute, the army broken, and but the backs of Britain seen, all flying through a straight lane. The enemy full-hearted, lulling the tongue with slaughtering, having work more plentiful than tools to dot, struck down some motley, some slightly touched, some falling merely through fear, that the straight pass was damned with dead men hurt behind, and cowards living to die with lengthened shame. Close by the battle, ditched and walled with turf, which gave advantage to an ancient soldier, an honest one, I warrant, who deserved so long a breeding as his white beard came to, in doing this for his country. Athwart the lane he, with 2 striplings, lads more like to run the country base than to commit such slaughter, with faces fit for masks, or rather fairer than those for preservation cased, or shame, made good the passage, cried to those that fled, Our Britons' hearts die flying, not our men, to darkness fleet souls that fly backwards. Stand, all we are Romans, and will give you that like beasts which you shun beastly, and may save, but to look back and frown, stand. These 3,000 confident in act as many, for 3 performers are the file when all the rest do nothing. With this word, stand, accommodated by the place, more charming with their own nobleness, which could have turned a distaff to a lance, gilded pale looks, pot shame, pot spirit renewed, that some turned coward but by example. Oh, a sin in war, damned in the first beginners. Gan to look the way that they did, and to grin like lions upon the pikes o' the hunters. Then began a stop I the chaser, a retire, anon a rout, confusion thick. Forthwith they fly chickens, the way which they stooped eagles, slaves, the strides they victors made. And now our cowards, like fragments in hard voyages, became the life o' the need. Having found the back door open of the unguarded hearts, heavens, how they wound! Some slain before, some dying, some their friends all borne I the former wave, 10, chased by one, are now each one the slaughter man of 20. Those that would die or e'er resist are grown the mottled bugs o' the field. This was strange chance, a narrow lane, an old man, and 2 boys. Nay, do not wonder at it. You are made rather to wonder at the things you hear than to work any. Will you rhyme upon't and vent it for mockery? Here is one. 2 boys, an old man twice a boy, Elaine, preserved the Britons was the Romans' bane. Lack to what end? Who dares not stand his foe, I'll be his friend, for if he'll do as he is made to do, I know he'll quickly fly my friendship too. You have put me into rhyme, still going, exit laud. This is a laud, O noble misery, to be I the field and ask, what news? Of me? Today how many would have given their honours to have saved their carcasses? Took heel to dot and yet died too? I, in mine own woe charmed, could not find death where I did hear him groan, nor feel him where he struck. Being an ugly monster, 'tis strange he hides him in fresh cups, soft beds, sweet words, or hath more ministers than we that draw his knives either war. Well, I will find him, for being now a favourer to the Briton, no more a Briton, I have resumed again the pot I came in. Fight I will no more, but yield me to the veriest hind that shall once touch my shoulder. Great the slaughter is here made by the Roman, great the answer be Britons must take. For me, my ransom's death, on either side I come to spend my breath, which neither here I'll keep nor bear again, but end it by some means for Imogen. Great Jupiter be praised, Lucius is taken, 'tis thought the old man and his sons were angels. There was a 4th man in a silly habit that gave the affront with them. So 'tis reported, but none of 'em can be found. Stand, who's there? A Roman, who had not now been drooping here, if seconds had answered him. Lay hands on him, a dog, a leg of Rome shall not return to tell what crows have pecked them here. He brags his service as if he were of note. Bring him to the king. Seen Roman for a British prison. You shall not now be stolen, you have locks upon you, so graze as you find pasture. Most welcome, bondage, for thou art away, I think, to liberty. Yet am I better than one that's sick o' the gout, since he had rather grown so in perpetuity than be cured by the sure physician, death, who is the key to unbar these locks. My conscience, thou art fettered more than my shanks and wrists. You good gods, give me the penitent instrument to pick that bolt then, free forever? Is't enough I am sorry? So children temporal fathers do appease, gods are more full of mercy. Must I repent? I cannot do it better than in gyves, desired more than constrained. To satisfy, if of my freedom 'tis the main part, take no stricter render of me than my all. I know you are more clement than vile men, who of their broken debtors take a 3rd, a 6th, a 10th, letting them thrive again on their abatement. That's not my desire, for Imogen's dear life take mine, and though 'tis not so dear, yet 'tis a life. You coined it? 'Tween man and man they weigh not every stamp, though light, take pieces for the figure's sake, you rather mine, being yours, and so, great powers, if you will take this audit, take this life and cancel these cold bonds. O Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence. Sleeps. No more, thou thundermaster, show thy spite on mortal flies. With Mars fall out, with Juno chide, that thy adulteries rates and revenges. Hath my poor boy done aught but well, whose face I never saw? I died whilst in the womb he stayed attending nature's law, whose father then, as men report thou often's father art, thou shouldst have been, and shielded him from this earth-vexing smart. Lucina lent not me her aid, but took me in my throes, that from me was posthumous ripped, came crying mongst his foes, a thing of pity. Great nature, like his ancestry, moulded the stuff so fair, that he deserved the praise o' the world, as great Cecilius heir. When once he was mature for man, in Britain where was he that could stand up his parallel? Or fruitful object be an eye of Imogen, that best could deem his dignity. With marriage wherefore was he mocked, to be exiled, and thrown from Leonati's seat, and cast from her his dearest one, sweet Imogen? Why did you suffer Iachimo, slight thing of Italy, to taint his nobler heart and brain with needless jealousy, and to become the geck and scorn o' th others' villainy? For this from stiller seats we came, our parents and us twain, that striking in our country's cause fell bravely, and were slain, our fealty and tenantius right with honour to maintain. Like hodiment posthumous hath to Cymbeline performed. Then, Jupiter, thou king of gods, why hast thou thus adjourned the graces for his merits due, being all to dollars turned? Thy crystal window ope, look out, no longer exercise upon a valiant race thy harsh and potent injuries. Since Jupiter, our son is good, take off his miseries. Peep through thy marble mansion, help, or we poor ghosts will cry to the shining synod of the rest against thy deity. Help, Jupiter, or we appeal, and from thy justice fly. No more, you petty spirits of region low, offend our hearing, hush, how dare you ghosts accuse the thunderer, whose bolt, you know, sky-planted batters all rebelling coasts. Poor shadows of Elysium, hence and rest upon your never-withering banks of flowers, be not with mortal accident suppressed, no care of yours it is, you know 'tis ours. Whom best I love I cross, to make my gift, the more delayed, delighted. Be content, your low-laid son our Godhead will uplift, his comforts thrive, his trials well spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he married. Rise and fade. He shall be laud of Lady Imogen, and happier much by his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, wherein our pleasure his full fortune doth confine, and so away, no further with your din express impatience, lest you stir up mine. Mount Eagle to my palace crystalline. Ascends, he came in thunder. His celestial breath was sulphurous to smell. The holy eagle stooped as to foot us. His ascension is more sweet than our blessed fields. His royal bird prunes the immortal wing and cloys his beak, as when his God is pleased. The marble pavement closes, he has entered his radiant route. Away, and to be blessed, let us with care perform his great behest. The ghosts vanish. Waking. Sleep, thou hast been a grandsire, and begot a father to me, and thou hast created a mother and 2 brothers. But gone, they went hence so soon as they were born, and so I am awake. Poor wretches that depend on greatness favor dream as I have done, wake and find nothing. But alas, I swerve. Many dream not to find neither deserve, and yet are steeped in favors, so am I that have this golden chance and know not why. What fairies haunt this ground? A book, O rare one. Be not, as is our fangled world, a garment nobler than that it covers. Let thy effects so follow, to be most unlike our courtiers, as good as promise. Reads. When as a lion's whelp shall, to himself unknown, without seeking find and be embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which, being dead many years, shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock and freshly grow, then shall posthumous end his miseries, Britain be fortunate and flourish in peace and plenty. 'Tis still a dream, or else such stuff as madmen tongue and brain not, either both or nothing, or senseless speaking, or a speaking such as sense cannot untie. Be what it is, the action of my life is like it, which I'll keep, if but for sympathy. Scene v. Cymbeline's tent. Stand by my side, you whom the gods have made preservers of my throne. Woe is my heart that the poor soldier that so richly fought, whose rags shamed gilded arms, whose naked breast stepped before tages of proof, cannot be found. He shall be happy that can find him, if our grace can make him so. I never saw such noble fury in so poor a thing, such precious deeds in one that promised naught but beggary and poor looks. He hath been searched among the dead and living, but no trace of him. To my grief, I am the heir of his reward, to Belarius, Gydrius, and Arviragus, which I will add to you, the liver, heart, and brain of Britain, by whom I grant she lives. 'Tis now the time to ask of whence you are. Report it, sir, in Cambria are we born and gentlemen. Further to boast we're neither true nor modest, unless I add we are honest. Bow your knees. Arise, my knights o' the battle. I create you companions to our person, and will fit you with dignities becoming your estates. There's business in these faces. Why so sadly greet you our victory? You look like Romans, and not o' the cot of Britain. Hail, great king. To sour your happiness, I must report the queen is dead. Who worse than a physician would this report become? But I consider, by medicine life may be prolonged, yet death will seize the doctor too. How ended she? With horror, madly dying like her life, which, being cruel to the world, concluded most cruel to herself. What she confessed I will report, so please you. These her women can trip me if I err, who with wet cheeks were present when she finished. First she confessed she never loved you, only affected greatness got by you, not you, married your royalty, was wife to your place, abhorred your person. She alone knew this, and but she spoke it dying, I would not believe her lips in opening it. Proceed. Your daughter, whom she bore in hand to love with such integrity, she did confess was as a scorpion to her sight, whose life, but that her flight prevented it, she had ta'en off by poison. O most delicate fiend! Who is't can read a woman, is there more? More, sir, and worse. She did confess she had for you a mortal mineral, which, being took, should by the minute feed on life and lingering by inches waste you. In which time she purposed, by watching, weeping, tendance, kissing, to occam you with her show, and in time, when she had fitted you with her craft, to work her son into the adoption of the crown, but, failing of her end by his strange absence, grew shameless desperate, opened, in despite of heaven and men, her purposes, repented the evils she hatched were not effected, so despairing died. Mine eyes were not in fault, for she was beautiful. Mine ears that heard her flattery, nor my heart that thought her like her seeming, it had been vicious to have mistrusted her. Yet, O my daughter, that it was folly in me thou mayst say, and prove it in thy feeling. Heaven mend all. Thou comest not, Caius, now for tribute that the Britons have raised out, though with the loss of many a bold one. whose kinsmen have made suit that their good souls may be appeased with slaughter of you their captives, which ourself have granted, so think of your estate. Consider, sir, the chance of war. The day was yours by accident. Had it gone with us, we should not, when the blood was cool, have threatened our prisoners with the sword. But since the gods will have it thus, that nothing but our lives may be called ransom, let it come. Sufficeth a Roman with a Roman's heart can suffer. Augustus lives to think on't, and so much for my peculiar care. This one thing only I will entreat, my boy, a Briton born, let him be ransomed. Never master had a page so kind, so duteous, diligent, so tender over his occasions, true, so feat, so nurse-like. Let his virtue join with my request, which I make bold your highness cannot deny. He hath done no Briton harm, though he have served a Roman. Save him, sir, and spare no blood beside. I have surely seen him. His favour is familiar to me. Boy, thou hast looked thyself into my grace, and art mine own. I know not why wherefore to say live, boy. Ne'er thank thy master, live, and ask of Cymbeline what boon thou wilt, fitting my bounty in thy state I'll give it. Yea, though thou do demand a prisoner, the noblest ton. I do not bid thee beg my life, good lad, and yet I know thou wilt. No, no, alack, there's other work in hand. I see a thing bitter to me as death. Your life, good master, must shuffle for itself. The boy disdains me, he leaves me, scorns me. Briefly die their joys that place them on the truth of girls and boys. Why stands he so perplexed? What wouldst thou, boy? I love thee more and more, think more and more what's best to ask. Know'st him thou look'st on? Speak, wilt have him live? Is he thy kin, thy friend? He is a Roman, no more kin to me than I to your highness, who, being born your vassal, am something nearer. I'll tell you, sir, in private, if you please to give me hearing. I, with all my heart, and lend my best attention. What's thy name? Thou art my good youth, my page, I'll be thy master. Walk with me, speak freely. Cymbeline and Imogen converse apart. One sand another not more resembles that sweet rosy lad who died, and was fidel. What think you? Peace, peace, see further, he eyes us not, forbear, creatures may be alike. Were he, I am sure he would have spoke to us, aside. It is my mistress, since she is living, let the time run on to good or bad. Cymbeline and Imogen come forward. Come, stand thou by our side, make thy demand aloud. To Iachimo, sir, step you forth, give answer to this boy, and do it freely. Or, by our greatness and the grace of it, which is our honour, bitter torture shall winnow the truth from falsehood. On, speak to him. My boon is, that this gentleman may render of whom he had this ring. That diamond upon your finger, say how came it yours. Thou'lt torture me to leave unspoken that which, to be spoke, would torture thee. I am glad to be constrained to utter that which torments me to conceal. By villainy I got this ring. 'Twas Leonatus' jewel, whom thou didst banish, and, which more may grieve thee, as it doth me, a nobler ne'er lived twixt sky and ground. Wilt thou hear more, my lord, that Paragon, thy daughter, for whom my heart drops blood, and my false spirits quail to remember? Give me leave, I faint. My daughter? What of her? Renew thy strength, I had rather thou shouldst live while nature will than die ere I hear more. Strive, man, and speak. Upon a time, unhappy was the clock that struck the hour. It was in Rome, accursed the mansion where 'twas at a feast. Oh, would our viands had been poisoned, or at least those which I heaved to head. The good Posthumus, what should I say? He was too good to be where ill men were, and was the best of all amongst the rarest of good ones. Sitting sadly, hearing us praise our loves of Italy for beauty that made barren the swelled boast of him that best could speak, for feature, laming the shrine of Venus, or straight pipe Minerva, postures beyond brief nature, for condition, a shop of all the qualities that man loves woman for, besides that hook of wiving, fairness which strikes the eye. I stand on fire, come to the matter. All too soon I shall, unless thou wouldst grieve quickly. This Posthumus, most like a noble lord in love and one that had a royal lover, took his hint, and not dispraising whom we praised, therein he was as calm as virtue. He began his mistress picture, which by his tongue being made, and then a mind put in't, either our brags were cracked of kitchen trulls, or his description proved us unspeaking sots. Your daughter's chastity, there it begins. He spake of her, as Diane had hot dreams, and she alone were cold. Whereat I, wretch, made scruple of his praise, and waged with him pieces of gold gainst this which then he wore upon his honoured finger, to attain and suit the place of's bed, and win this ring by hers and mine adultery. He, true knight, no lesser of her honour confident than I did truly find her, stakes this ring, and would so, had it been a carbuncle of Phobos' wheel, and might so safely, had it been all the worth of Ska. Away to Britain post I in this design. Well may you, sir, remember me at court, where I was taught of your chaste daughter the wide difference twixt amorous and villainous. Being thus quenched of hope, Not longing, mine Italian brain gan in your dulla Britain operate most vilely. For my vantage, excellent, and to be brief, my practice so prevailed, that I returned with simula proof enough to make the noble Leonatus mad, by wounding his belief in her renown with tokens thus, and thus, averting notes of chamber hanging, pictures, this her bracelet, O cunning, how I got it? Nay, some mocks of secret on her person, that he could not but think her bond of chastity quite cracked, I having ta'en the forfeit. Whereupon, methinks I see him now, advancing. I, so thou dost, Italian fiend. I me, most credulous fool, egregious murderer, thief. Anything that's due to all the villains past in being to come? Oh, give me cod, or knife, or poison, some upright justicer. Thou, king, send out for torturers ingenious. It is I that all the abhorred things o' the earth amend by being worse than they. I am Posthumus, that killed thy daughter. Villain-like, I lie, that caused a less a villain than myself, a sacrilegious thief. To dot, the temple of virtue was she, yea, and she herself. Spit and throw stones, cast mire upon me, set the dogs o' the street to bay me. Every villain be called Posthumus Leonatus, and be villainy less than 'twas. O Imogen, my queen, my life, my wife. O Imogen, 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 shall's have a play of this. Thou scornful page, there lie thy pot. Striking her, she falls. O gentlemen, help, mine and your mistress. O my lord Posthumus, you ne'er killed Imogen till now. Help, help, mine honoured lady. If this be so, the gods do mean to strike me to death with mortal joy. Oh, get thee from my sight, thou gavest me poison. Dangerous fellow, hence, breathe not where princes are. Lady, the gods throw stones of sulphur on me, if that box I gave you was not thought by me a precious thing. I had it from the queen. O gods, I left out one thing which the queen confessed, which must approve thee honest. If Pisanio have, said she, given his mistress that confection which I gave him for cordial, she is served as I would serve a rat. The queen, sir, very oft importuned me to temper poisons for her, still pretending the satisfaction of her knowledge only in killing creatures vile, as cats and dogs, of no esteem. I, dreading that her purpose was of more danger, did compound for her a certain stuff, which, being ta'en, would cease the present power of life, but in short time all offices of nature should again do their due functions. Have you ta'en of it? My boys, there was our era. Why did you throw your wedded lady from you? Think that you are upon a rock, and now throw me again. Embracing him. Hang there like a fruit, my soul, till the tree die. How now, my flesh, my child? What makest thou me a dullard in this act? Wilt thou not speak to me? To Gydrius and Arviragus. Though you did love this youth, I blame you not. You had a motive fought. My tears that fall prove holy water on thee. Imogen, thy mother's dead. Oh, she was not, and long of her it was that we meet here so strangely. But her son is gone, we know not how nor where. My lord, now fear is from me, I'll speak troth. Lord Cloten, upon my lady's missing, came to me with his sword drawn, foamed at the mouth, and swore, if I discovered not which way she was gone, it was my instant death. By accident, I had a feigned letter of my master's then in my pocket, which directed him to seek her on the mountains near to Milford, where, in a frenzy, in my master's garments, which he enforced from me, away he posts with unchaste purpose and with oath to violate my lady's honour. What became of him I further know not. Let me end the story, I slew him there. Marry, the gods forfend, I would not thy good deeds should from my lips pluck a bawd sentence. Prithee, valiant youth, den it again. A most incivil one, the wrongs he did me were nothing prince-like. For he did provoke me with language that would make me spurn the sea, if it could so rot me. I cut off's head. And am right glad he is not standing here to tell this tale of mine. I am sorry for thee, by thine own tongue thou art condemned, and must endure our law. Thou art dead. That headless man I thought had been my lord. Bind the offender, and take him from our presence. Stay, Sir King, this man is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself, and hath more of thee merited than a band of Clotons had ever scar for. To the god. Let his alms alone, they were not bond for bondage. Why, old soldier, wilt thou undo the worth thou art unpaid for, by tasting of our wrath? How of descent as good as we? We will die all three, but I will prove that 2 ons are as good as I have given out him. My sons, I must, for mine own part, unfold a dangerous speech, though, haply, well for you. Have it then, by leave. Thou hadst, great king, a subject who was called Belarius. What of him? He is a banished traitor. He it is that hath assumed this age, indeed a banished man, I know not how a traitor. Take him hence, the whole world shall not save him. Not too hot, first pay me for the nursing of thy sons, and let it be confiscate all, so soon as I have received it. I am too blunt and saucy, here's my knee. Ere I arise, I will prefer my sons, then spare not the old father. Mighty sir, these two young gentlemen that call me father and think they are my sons, are none of mine. They are the issue of your loins, my liege, and blood of your begetting. So sure as you your fathers. I, old Morgan, am that Belarius whom you sometime banished. Your pleasure was my mere offence, my punishment itself, and all my treason. That I suffered was all the harm I did. These gentle princes, for such and so they are, these 20 years have I trained up. Those arts they have as I could put into them. My breeding was, sir, as your highness knows. Their nurse, Europhile, whom for the theft I wedded, stole these children upon my banishment. I moved her taught, having received the punishment before, for that which I did then. Beaten for loyalty excited me to treason. Their dear loss, the more of you 'twas felt, the more it shaped unto my end of stealing them. But gracious sir, here are your sons again, and I must lose two of the sweetest companions in the world. The benediction of these covering heavens fall on their heads like dew, for they are worthy to inlay heaven with stars. Thou weepst and speakst. The service that you three have done is more unlike than this thou tell'st. I lost my children, if these be they. I know not how to wish a pair of worthier sons, be pleased a while. This gentleman, whom I call Polydore, most worthy prince as yours, is true Gydrius. This gentleman, my Cadwal, Arviragus, your younger princely son. He, sir, was lapped in a most curious mantle, wrought by the hand of his queen mother, which from our probation I can with ease produce. Gydrius had upon his neck a mole, a sanguine star. It was a mark of wonder. This is he, who hath upon him still that natural stamp. It was wise nature's end in the donation, to be his evidence now. Oh, what, am I a mother to the birth of three? Ne'er mother rejoiced deliverance more. Blessed pray you be that, after this strange starting from your orbs, you may reign in them now. O Imogen, thou hast lost by this a kingdom. No, my lord, I have got 2 worlds bite. O my gentle brothers, have we thus met? Oh, never say hereafter, but I am truest speaker. You called me brother when I was but your sister. I you brothers when you were so indeed. And at first meeting loved, continued so, until we thought he died. O rare instinct, when shall I hear all through? This fierce abridgment hath to it circumstantial branches which distinction should be rich in. Where, how lived you? And when came you to serve our Roman captive? How potted with your brothers? How first met them? Why fled you from the cot, and whither? These, and your 3 motives to the battle, with I know not how much more, should be demanded, and all the other by dependencies from chance to chance. But nor the time nor place will serve our long interrogatories. See, Posthumus anchors upon Imogen, and she, like harmless lightning, throws her eye on him, her brothers, me, her master. Hitting each object with a joy, the counterchange is severally in all. Let's quit this ground, and smoke the temple with our sacrifices. To Belarius. Thou art my brother, so will hold thee ever. You are my father too, and did relieve me to see this gracious season. All are joyed, save these in bonds. Let them be joyful too, for they shall taste our comfort. My good master, I will yet do you service. The fallen soldier, that so nobly fought, he would have well become this place, and graced the thankings of a king. I am, sir, the soldier that did company these 3 in poor beseeming. 'Twas a fitment for the purpose I then followed. That I was he speak, I a Chimo. I had you down and might have made you finish. Kneeling, I am down again, but now my heavy conscience sinks my knee, as then your foss did. Take that life, beseech you, which I so often owe, but your ring first, and here the bracelet of the truest princess that ever swore her faith. Kneel not to me, the power that I have on you is to spare you, the malice towards you to forgive you. Live and deal with others better. Nobly doomed, we'll learn our freeness of a son-in-law, pardons the word to all. You holp us, sir, as you did mean indeed to be our brother, joyed are we that you are. Your servant, princes. Good my lord of Rome, call forth your soothsayer. As I slept, methought great Jupiter, upon his eagle backed, appeared to me with other sprightly shows of mine own kindred. When I waked, I found this label on my bosom, whose containing is so from sense and hardness, that I can make no collection of it. Let him show his skill in the construction. Raids. When as a lion's whelp shall, to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which, being dead many years, shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock, and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate and flourish in peace and plenty. Thou, Leonatus, art the lion's whelp, the fit and apt construction of thy name, being Leonatus, doth impart so much. To Cymbeline, the piece of tender air, thy virtuous daughter, which we call Molly's heir, and Molly's heir we term it Mulia, which Mulia, I divine, is this most constant wife, who even now, answering the letter of the oracle, unknown to you, unsought, were clipped about with this most tender air. The lofty cedar, royal Cymbeline, personates thee, and thy lopped branches point thy two sons forth, who, by Belarius stolen, for many years thought dead, are now revived, to the majestic cedar joined, whose issue promises Britain peace and plenty. Well, my peace we will begin. And Caius Lucius, although the victor, we submit to Caesar, and to the Roman Empire, promising to pay our wonted tribute, from the which we were dissuaded by our wicked queen, whom heavens, in justice both on her and hers, have laid most heavy hand. The fingers of the powers above do tune the harmony of this peace. The vision which I made known to Lucius, ere the stroke of this yet scarce gold battle, at this instant is full accomplished. For the Roman eagle, from south to west on wings soaring aloft, lessened herself, and in the beams o' the sun so vanished, which foreshowed our princely eagle, the imperial Caesar, should again unite his favor with the radiant Cymbeline, which shines here in the west. Laud we the gods, and let our crooked smokes climb to their nostrils from our blessed altars. Publish we this peace to all our subjects. Set we forward, let a Roman and a British ensign wave friendly together, so through Ludstown march, and in the temple of great Jupiter our peace will ratify, seal it with feasts. Set on there? Never was a war did cease ere bloody hands were washed with such a peace. Exeunt. Colof and Cymbeline was published in 1609 by William Shakespeare. This ebook was produced for Standard eBooks by Emma Sweeney, and is based on a transcription produced in 1993 by Jeremy Hilton for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The cover page is adapted from Imogen and the Shepherds, a painting completed in 1874 by James Smetham. The cover and title pages feature the League Spartan and Sots Mill Gaudy typefaces, created in 2014 and 2009 by the League of Movable Type. This edition was released on August 18, 2025, 9:13 p.m., and is based on revision 3 FC 7348. The first edition of this ebook was released on October 11, 2022, 3:37 p.m. You can check for updates to this ebook, view its revision history, or download it for different e-reading systems at standardbooksorg/ebooks/William Shakespeare/Cymbeline. The volunteer-driven Standard eBooks project relies on readers like you to submit typos, corrections, and other improvements. Anyone can contribute at Standard Booksorg. Dramatis Personae Cymbeline, King of Britain Cloten, son to the Queen by a former husband Posthumus Leonatus, a gentleman, husband to Imogen Belarius, a banished laud, disguised under the name of Morgan Gydrius, son to Cymbeline, disguised under the name of Polydore, supposed son to Morgan Arviragus, son to Cymbeline, disguised under the name of Cadwal, supposed son to Morgan Philario, friend to Posthumus, Italian Iachimo, friend to Philario, Italian Caius Lucius, general of the Roman forces Pisanio, servant to Posthumus Cornelius, a physician a Roman captain, 2 British captains a Frenchman, friend to Philario, 2 lords of Cymbelines caught 2 gentlemen of the same 2 jailers queen, wife to Cymbeline Imogen, daughter to Cymbeline by a former Queen Helen, a lady attending on Imogen lords, ladies, Roman senators, tribunes, a soothsayer, a Dutchman, a Spaniard, musicians, officers, captains, soldiers, messengers, and other attendants apparitions seen. Britain, Rome. Imprint this ebook is the product of many hours of hard work by volunteers for Standard eBooks, and builds on the hard work of other literature lovers made possible by the public domain. This particular ebook is based on a transcription from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The source text and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. They may still be copyrighted in other countries, so users located outside of the United States must check their local laws before using this ebook. The creators of, and contributors to, this ebook dedicate their contributions to the worldwide public domain via the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication. For full license information, see the uncopyright at the end of this ebook. Standard eBooks is a volunteer-driven project that produces ebook editions of public domain literature using modern typography, technology, and editorial standards, and distributes them free of cost. You can download this and other ebooks carefully produced for true book lovers at Standard Booksorg.